Right. शुरू करें बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. All right. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulil Kareem. Right, we've reached this station where Sayyidina Adam, that the shaitan rejected to prostrate in front of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. Today, inshallah, there's just a few points here to mention. And then after that, we will be starting Hazrat Hawa radiyallahu anha, how Allah Rabbul Izzat created her and how she came in the wedlock of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. All right. Now, as far as the angels are concerned, they were commanded by Allah Rabbul Izzat to prostrate to who? Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. There's two statements regarding this in the, you can say, classical books. One is that the angels were ordered to literally do sajda in front of Adam alayhi salam. This is one opinion and one view, that they were ordered. And the other was that they indirectly they were ordered to do sajda to Allah Rabbul Izzat. I'll explain that the sajda was to that Allah Rabbul Izzat, the sajda was to Adam alayhi salam, but the sajda was to Allah Rabbul Izzat, but indirectly. Like we face the Qibla. What do? But are we worshipping the Qibla? No. We only face the Qibla to worship Allah Rabbul Izzat. So in the same token, the sajda, the angels did surrender to Adam alayhi salam, but indirectly they were doing sajda to Allah Rabbul Izzat. This was the test. All right. And what was the reason that Allah Rabbul Izzat, why this test? That Allah Rabbul Izzat commanded the angels to do sajda to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. Many ulama have mentioned, and Allama Ismail Haqqi, who is the compile, who you can say who has written a tafsir called Ruhul Bayan. One is Ruhul Ma'ani. Allama Sayyid Mahmud Baghdadi, his tafsir, which is in 30 volumes. And one is Allama Ismail Haqqi's tafsir, Ruhul Bayan. So one is Ruhul Ma'ani, one is Ruhul Bayan. So Allama Ismail Haqqi has mentioned in Ruhul Bayan, in reality, the angels were commanded by Allah to do sajda to the noor in the forehead of Adam alayhi salam, and that noor was of the Prophet of Allah. That noor was of who? The Prophet of Allah. So they were being commanded by Allah to do sajda to this noor that was in the forehead of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. And whose noor was that? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. All right. Even Imam Fakhruddin Razi, whose tafsir is Fatihul Ghaib, and famous, it's called, this is the classical name, Fatihul Ghaib, but it's called Tafsir Razi as well. He has mentioned the same thing as well, that the angels were commanded to do sajda to that noor in the forehead of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. So two mufassirun have said this. All right, now, as far as sajda is concerned, the angels were commanded by Allah Rabbul Izzat to do sajda to Sayyidina Adam salam. Regardless of this being halal, haram, jaiz, there's no question in books. This is the order of Allah. Number one, it's the order of Allah. At any time, at any point, He can give any order. He can give. It is Allah that makes halal, haram. Number one answer. That it is not jaiz and permissible for any makhluk, be it the angels, to prostrate to anybody except. So why is Allah Rabbul Izzat ordering the angel to prostrate to who? To Adam alayhi salam. Number one, it's the order of Allah. Finish. Number two, there's two types of sajda. One is sajda which you do out of respect. And one is sajda you do in the form of ibadah, which you do in the form of. So the sajda the angels did was not the sajda a person does in ibadah. They done the sajda of respect, which is called sajda ta'azimi, which is called. For the previous ummahs, this was permissible, but for this ummah, it is haram. What is it? It is haram. So you're not allowed to, the word you will find in the classical books, in the books of fiqh, is inhina, to bow down a little bit. You're not even allowed to bow down a little bit for anybody out of reverence. It is not permissible. It is not unconditionally. It's not permissible. You are not allowed to bow down, because this bowing is only reserved for Allah Rabbul Izzat. Yes. But will it be, now if a person does bow, is the sin the same as doing sajda to a person? Is the sin the same as doing sajda? No, the sin is not the same because he's doing it out of reverence. He's not bowing down out of ibadah. But it is still makruh tahrimi, it is close to haram. What is it? So a person shouldn't bow down at all for anybody. Yes. Is it allowed to kiss the hands? Yes, you are allowed to kiss the hands. There is no problem in kissing the hands. And the other one is, I'll just study this. The other is kissing the hands and another gesture. What is another gesture?
Kissing shoulders or the head.
That's all right. That's no problem. Yeah, kissing the forehead, kissing the hands. This gesture is all out. No problem. You're not allowed to just bow down for anybody. Even be it out of reverence. Why? The reason being here is that the element of shirk. The Prophet ﷺ has closed all doors that lead to shirk. That's the reason. The Prophet ﷺ has closed all doors that lead to shirk. Today a person is bowing this much, tomorrow he'll be bowing more. If an ignorant people are seen, what would they do then? What they do in back home in Pakistan, that's what they will be doing. That's the reason. So you could say, back in the days, like you see Yusuf alayhi salam, what did he see in the dream? What did Yaqub alayhi salam see in the dream? His brothers. Yes, no, that was Yusuf alayhi salam saw the dream. What did Yusuf see? They're doing sajda. So they were doing sajda. So you can't say that sajda outright is haram. Sajda to the makhluk is outright haram. It is not outright out of reverence. But why it has become haram? Because the Prophet wants to close the door of shirk. That's the reason. So in the previous ummahs it was allowed. But for this ummah, the Prophet wants to close the door. The reason being is there's no prophet to come. That's it. So if this sickness creeps back in, then no one can remove this sickness again. So the Prophet has just closed it. Finish. You got it?
What about when you go into the court, and they...
You're not allowed to bow down, that's it.
Put your head like
Yeah. Be this much of business. The fuqaha have mentioned be this much of going down to the, you can say, 45 degree or even going down a little bit is not allowed. Yes, it is not. You're allowed to kiss on the hand, you're allowed to kiss on the forehead, no problem. But don't just bow down.
The kids...
Yeah, and another thing.
They do that instead of...
Yeah, that's all right. And sometimes you keep this in mind, this is a custom and practice of some people as well. This is a custom. This is a what? A cultural thing. So if it's a cultural thing, it's not that haram. It's not haram then, if it's a cultural thing. If it's not a cultural thing, you're going down because those people, it's their culture, they understand, they're not going down because they're doing it out of worship or they're doing it out of any other reason. It's just respect, you understand? So if it's a cultural thing, the ruling is not that sakht and severe. It's not that hard. If it's a cultural thing. If it's not a cultural thing, don't bring it in your culture then.
It's still makruh, but...
Yeah, still makruh.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be bound down. Then there's levels. The first one would be makruh tahrimi, this will be less. So there's two levels of karahat. One is absolutely dislike, which is close to haram, and one dislike is close to mubah. So this one will be close to mubah, not the haram one. So keep that in mind. If it's a cultural thing, so keep that in mind. If it's culture, then you can't just eliminate a civilization's culture overnight. Or if it's been there for thousands of years, those people understand we're not going down because we're doing sajda to this person out of ibadah or something. They understand this. So if this is not the culture, if it's not in your civilization, don't introduce this. Got it? All right. Now another thing. All right. You see that by respecting and honoring the Prophet, by respecting and honoring, Allah Rabbul Izzat gives you respect, and by defaming and deposing and opposing the Anbiya alayhi salam, like the shaitan opposed who? Adam alayhi salam. He was what? Accursed. He was accursed and debased. Yes. All right, another one. Why didn't Allah Rabbul Izzat then, when the shaitan, Azazil, this was his original name, when he didn't do sajda to Adam alayhi salam, rejected the order of Allah Rabbul Izzat, why didn't Allah Rabbul Izzat thus destroy him there? Why did Allah Rabbul Izzat thus destroy him there? Finish. Take care of him. Why? There's a reason behind this. The reason is that if Allah Rabbul Izzat destroyed the shaitan, Azazil, there would be no test then. What would the purpose of Allah Rabbul Izzat, what would the purpose of Allah creating us? There would be no purpose behind Allah creating us then. There would be no test. That's why Allah Rabbul Izzat did not take care of the shaitan, the Azazil, and did not destroy him. Why? Life is a test. Because we're going to be placed in this dunya, and Allah Rabbul Izzat is going to let the shaitan free, do whatever you want. And like we read before, that the shaitan, he runs in the blood of Ibn Adam. Where does it? In the veins of Ibn Adam. He runs in the arteries and in the veins like blood runs. So this is a test for us. So you see that there are two types of enemies we have got in this dunya. That's why we have to be careful. One is the shaitan, which is an external enemy. Who is he? He is the external enemy. You cannot see him. Both enemies you cannot see, the external or the internal. But you can feel the internal more than the external. So there's an external enemy. Who is that? The shaitan. And then anyone that misleads or takes anybody astray, that can be a human being as well. So a human being can be a shaitan as well. What does shaitan mean? Somebody that misleads. So if it's a physical person, he's a shaitan. Yes, he's a shaitan as well. But put this one on the side, a human being. Put the human being on the side, a human being that is misleading. We're talking about the unseen creation which we cannot see and misleads man. That is the chamche, the sidekicks, or you can say the students of Azazil, the shaitan, which I'm referring to at the moment. I'm not talking about insan. Those insan that mislead. Those human beings that mislead, they are shaitan as well. But shaitan can be from the jinn and shaitan can be from human beings as well. So at the moment, I'm not referring to the shaitan from human beings, I'm referring to the shaitan from the jinn. Right, so one is this enemy you cannot see. All he does is whisper. What does he do? Whisper. He cannot do more than this. That's why on the day of judgment, when people be being cast to the fire of Jahannam, they will say that it was not at all, it was the shaitan. The shaitan at that point will say to Allah, did I grab their hands? Did I force them to commit this sin? I didn't force them, I just whispered. They were weak. Why were they weak? So you can't blame the shaitan. He only whispers. Like I said, it's a test. And then you got an internal enemy. Allah mentions in the glorious Quran, فَأَلْحَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Allah has embedded, you can say, two temperaments in a person, two dispositions in a person. What are the dispositions? To do good and to do evil. فَأَلْحَمَهَا. Allah ne ilham kiya. He has embedded, He has instilled, He has inspired humans. What? To do good and to do bad. Now the one, that internal, you can say that internal character of a person, or that internal disposition which encourages a person to do good, that is the accusative soul. What is that? Accusative soul. And that nature, that internal nature and disposition which encourages a person to do sin, it is the rebellious soul. So you got three souls here. You got the rebellious soul and you got the accusative soul, which is called nafse lawama. Now when you want to commit a sin, you all feel this, and we all feel this, and we see this. We don't see it, we feed it. That something inside is saying, don't do it. Yes? If you've got any level of love for Allah or any ta'alluq with deen, everyone feels this. Don't do this. What is that? That is the accusative soul. Now the problem is that this rebellious soul, if you have fed it so much and it has become so big and strong, what does it do? It overpowers this accusative soul. On the contrary, if you have made an effort on this accusative soul, it becomes a nafse mutma'inna, the satisfied soul. When it becomes the satisfied soul, then what happens? Then this overpowers the rebellious soul. Then the rebellious soul, or you can say temperament, does not get the better. So it's a matter of just making an effort on this accusative soul to make it the satisfied soul. This is called nafse mutma'inna, to make it. And once you make this soul nafse mutma'inna, then it is not that game over. It's like we play games on the, I don't play games, so I shouldn't even say this. So people play games on the mobile. That's why I've got no game loaded on this. So people play games. So you see at the end, game over. As far as this soul is concerned, it's not game over. You know why? It can slip any time. The nafse mutma'inna, the satisfied soul, can slip any time. Why? This nafse ammara, the rebellious soul, is waiting for an opportunity, a window. As soon as he sees weakness, what is he going to do? He's going to start feeding. Then you're going to give opportunity for him to start eating again. And then he's going to become big again. And then he's going to overpower you. And then you'll need the accusative soul to work again. So it's a continuous struggle for man. So a man has to be alert and on his toes 24/7 until he does not depart in the state of iman. We have to be alert. He can take our iman away at any time. He can take a person's iman because iman is not guaranteed. Iman is not, nothing is guaranteed in this life. There's only one thing guaranteed. What is that? Death. Death is guaranteed. When? Nobody knows, but it's guaranteed. Apart from that, nothing guaranteed. How much you will live, how much you will make, nothing is guaranteed. Your iman, nothing guaranteed. All right. So this is the reason. So Allah says, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّا فَالْهَمَا فُجُورًا وَتَقْوَى قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Successful is that person that purifies himself. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. And who has failed and who is unsuccessful? That person who does not purify his heart. Who does not. That's why we started a series, mashallah. It's amazing. I sometimes think about this as well. We started 60,000 series. We don't even finish one. So I wanted to start a couple of weeks. Remember, a couple of months back, we started a series, Khidmat-e-Khalq, serving the Ummah, serving the makhluk of Allah, the creation. Few Jumas on that, and then we started Unity. We've done a few on the unity, and now we're on something else now. But this time we're going to finish this series, inshallah. This was on ikhlaq. This was on akhlaq, good conduct. We're going to finish this, inshallah. But it could go for a year or two, who knows? There's many dimensions to be covered as far as akhlaq is concerned. This is something we have to make an effort on. We all pray, we all fast, we all do Hajj and Umrah and everything. But where we are falling back, where we fall back and where we fall short is this department. That's why we don't grow in our deen. We don't grow. Udhar namaz bhi pad rahe and there we are abusing somebody. Udhar namaz bhi pad rahe and we don't have to treat our wives. Astaghfirullah. How are you going to grow? You can never grow in your deen if you can't control this. That's why somebody asked Hakim Luqman, very wise person mentioned in the Quran as well, advised his son that Allah gave you this maqam, Allah gave you this wisdom on the back of what? You could have some on the back of some qualities. He said, yes, on the back of these three qualities. Number one, sidq maqal, sidq hadith. I speak the truth. What do? Adai amanat. I fulfill trust. Somebody gives me. And the thing is, our concept is not right. And I think I've given you this, hold this for me until I come back. There's many other trusts as well. One trust is Allah's given us iman. This is a trust. Are we taking care of that trust? We're not taking care of that trust. Another trust is the Prophet of Allah. Allah gave us the Prophet of Allah. He's a trust to us. Are we propagating his deen? Are we taking, this is the trust Allah has given. No. And the third thing he said is, tarke ma la ya'ni. That I don't involve myself in those things that are none of my business. Today we involve ourselves in everything that is not our business. Wo kya kare? What is it to you? What's he doing? How much is he making? What's it to you, brother? Why are you so nosy? What's it to you? Boss, we got to ask. These three qualities. All right. Now, number 4. So these were 4 points. This is the 4th point now. And then the shaitan, Allah said, yes, you can deceive. But Allah said, you can deceive my slaves, my abd, my slaves. But you cannot deceive my sincere slaves. And Allah was referring to who? The Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. You cannot deceive them. You cannot deceive them. Now, Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi says, there's 2 ways of overpowering the shaitan. How many? And remember, these are who people? Who are these people? These are those people that have overpowered the shaitan. These are those people that have made an effort to overpower the shaitan. These are those people that have given their whole life in this battle. Whole life in this battle. That's like I just said, that's why we should go home, and sometimes where we waste so much time Googling rubbish, finding rubbish on the internet and searching for rubbish, just search something regarding Imam Ghazali, what a giant he was. Just then you'll understand how rich Islamic history is and how rich Islamic scholarship is, how rich Islamic scholarship. Today we don't understand how rich Islamic scholarship is. Just Google this person. He's one of the most intelligent person ever to come on this dunya. What did I say? I'm not talking about Muslim. I didn't say Muslim or Muslim, nothing. He's one of the most intelligent people ever from the time Allah has created Adam A.S. till today to ever live on this dunya, Imam Ghazali. His written book is called Tuhfatul Falsafa. And these were philosophers at that time, spent their whole life studying philosophy, this and that. When Imam Ghazali debated with them, and when he rebutted them, and when he made them surrender on their knees, there's 20 points in this book. They said, who the hell is this person? How long has he been studying philosophy? We've spent our whole life studying. I'm not doing my life, 40, 50, 60 years. And behind those 50, 60 years, you got the philosophy of who? You got the philosophy of Arastu, people like this. And this person, Imam Ghazali, made them kneel on their knees. He said, how long has he been studying this philosophy for? He said, I've only been studying 2 years. In 2 years, he made those people surrendering in front of him who were specialists in this field. So he was an intellectual giant and genius. He says this, there's two ways of overpowering the shaitan. Number one, come in the refuge of Allah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan. That's why we read this before we pray. We read this before we do anything good. Why? Because if you do something and you're not in Allah Rabbul Izzat's refuge, Allah Rabbul Izzat has not taken you in His protection, and you haven't given yourself in Allah Rabbul Izzat's protection, then He's going to play with your intentions. What is He going to do? He's going to make that amal crooked. That's why Allama Ibn Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi says, the verse is this one. This is the principle though. فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ أَحَدًا. That whoever has hope in meeting Allah Rabbul Izzat, whoever has, what will he do then? This is a principle. So if you see someone not praying, what is the meaning? No hope in meeting Allah. But if you have hope in meeting Allah, what will you do? فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا. You will do amal salih. وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ. And you will not associate anybody in your ibadat. Your ibadat will be exclusive for who? Allah Rabbul Izzat. Allama Ibn Qayyim says, what is amal salih? He says, amal salih, everybody knows what amal salih is. An act you do to please Allah Rabbul Izzat. But Allama Ibn Qayyim says, muqayyadan bis sunnati, that amal you do must be in line with sunnah. Wa khali anil riya, and it must be free from pump and show. So three things, you do it for Allah, it must be in line with the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah. What? Today we do many things considered it to be deen, but it's not deen. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam hasn't, you could say, approved it. You haven't got the stamp of sunnah on that. Whatever, that's why you see Mujaddid al-Fisani rahmatullah alayhi, Imam Rabbani, he says, when it came to searching for the qurb and the closeness of Allah Rabbul Izzat, these things you will not understand. These things are very high for normal people to understand anyway. Because we are so back, we are so far back in the line. We haven't made the effort. This is when you make effort, you will understand. So he said, I've tried everything to draw close to Allah Rabbul Izzat, everything. Because as far as study is concerned, everybody knows, mashallah, tafsir, hadith, fiqh, everything. But he goes, the best key, the best remedy, the best method, the best solution, the best formula to seek the pleasure of Allah Rabbul Izzat and draw close to Allah Rabbul Izzat without any obstacles coming in the way, it is practicing the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah. To live alike like the Prophet of Allah. Now this can come in your mind, very hard. Yes, look, nothing is easy in life anyway. Nothing is. Allah says in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ, what is the verse? لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. Allah Rabbul Izzat says, I have created man in hardship. I want to mention that today here. One of the results of Sayyidina Adam A.S. being exiled from Jannah and coming in this dunya was what? That now your life is going to be difficult. Allah said your life is going to be difficult now. In Jannat, food, drink, shelter, and all these things, there was no requirement. In Jannah, there is no requirement for food or drinking anything. Why? That place is pure from all its stuff. If we are doing it, we are only doing it for enjoyment. So in Jannah, Adam A.S, when he was experiencing this, it's only for enjoyment, not for necessity. In these dunya, you need these things for what? Necessity, not enjoyment. There's a level of shelter you need. There's a level of food you need. There's a level of water, liquid you need to sustain your body, to sustain yourself. It's a necessity. So Allah said to Adam A.S, now you are in this dunya, now all these things have become necessity, and now life is going to become kabad, hard. Be it worldly life, be it spiritual life, it is hard, it is not easy. No one has made it in this dunya without doing anything. No one. Has anyone ever made it? And the people that excel, everybody knows the people that excel. I follow cricket. Just look at Australian, what is his name? Steve Smith. The crazy man, he shadow bets hours. He shadow bets hours. No ball, no nothing in front of the window. Hours before going to bed. He was doing this now. For 3-4 months he wasn't playing cricket. All he was doing is this shadow betting against the wall. They're crazy. You can't make it like that. Usain Bolt said, it took me 4 years to run under 10 seconds. And today you think you can just get on the track and run under 10 seconds? It took me 4 years. Nothing is easy. So if dunya is not easy, but I'm telling you something, deen is much more easier than dunya. I'm telling you that now. You know why? When it comes to deen, you have Allah Rabbul Izzat's nusra, help. When it comes to the deen, there's no help there. Yes, there is a certain limit of help, and then we're trying to go outside this Allah Rabbul Izzat has, for instance, destined that we will make this much. Allah has destined that we're going to make this much, we're going to get this much. We're trying to make more than that which Allah has destined for us. That's why our life is living hell. Allah has destined $100, we're trying to make $200. It's not destined for us. As far as deen is concerned, no destiny. Allah says go for the great, whatever you desire. When it comes to the dunya, it's not whatever you desire. But when it comes to deen, whatever you desire. You desire big, I will give you. So you got the assistance when it comes to deen. But when it comes to dunya, to a certain level you got assistance. Allah wants to give you 100, that's it. You're trying for the next 100. You're not going to get it, brother. You're going to lose the first 100. All right. So now, the second thing Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi says, that at all times you should be ready for the attack of the shaitan. Meaning, you should be ready as far as your enemy is concerned. He's always going to attack you. Yes? What do enemies do? When they find a weakness, they attack. The shaitan will do the same as well. When he finds a weakness, what is he going to do? He's going to attack. Now, Imam Ghazali rahmatullah, as far as this attack is concerned, there's 3 ways you can overcome this attack or protect yourself from the onslaught of the shaitan. 3 ways. Number 1. Learn how he plays his tricks. Learn how he plays his tricks. So study your enemy and learn how he plays his tricks. Number 1. All right. When he knows that you know how he plays his when he realizes that you know how he plays his tricks, what is he going to do? He'll take the back foot. For instance, if a thief knows there's no one in, for instance, there's a house full of gold, but the thieves don't, they know that there's somebody here guarding this place. They will not, what will they do? They will not break in. They know somebody's guarding. But if they don't know, but if they know that nobody is guarding, what they're going to do? They're going to break in. So you should be alert. By you being alert, it makes the shaitan alert. He doesn't attack. And he attacks in many ways. I'll give you one. Allama ibn Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi says, it's ajeeb. Whenever you feel comfortable doing a amal saleh, he's got you. He's got you. Whenever you see that you have become comfortable doing something, he's got you. You're not going to grow now. I'll give you a prime example. Our Tablighi brothers. They are so comfortable in these chilles, in these 3 days, they don't realize shaitan has got them. They don't think above that. That's it. A person is praying all night. Shaitan's got him as well. He thinks that's all my deen. Nothing more than that. Allama ibn Qayyim says, wherever you see yourself comfortable, step out of that comfort. You know why? Because if you remain in that comfort, you're going to be going back. The shaitan's got you. Now do something that is difficult. You know why? You have to protect your iman. And you have to know how the shaitan works. He wants you to be comfortable. You know why? I'll give you an example. Sayyidina Amir Mawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala, one day he couldn't get up for tahajjud. He couldn't get up for. The following day, the shaitan comes and wakes him up. So when you can say, he's rubbing his shoulder and waking us up. I said, who the hell are you, mate? Who let you in? He goes, no, I'm the shaitan. He goes, what's the shaitan doing waking me up for tahajjud? The shaitan should be putting me to sleep, not waking me up. Because what are you doing here? He goes, yesterday you remained asleep. and I saw the reward Allah Rabbul Izzat writ for you. I don't want you to get that reward. Because of what? Because of your guilt and your remorse that you couldn't wake up. So I don't want you to remain asleep today and get the same reward. That's why I'm waking you up. The shaitan wants to see us comfortable. And today we see everyone, and never exclude myself. When you're talking to somebody, don't exclude yourself. We're the biggest losers as well. All of us, all of us, mashallah, losers. It's not mashallah mufti speaking or tufti speaking, all losers, alhamdulillah. When it comes, we are so comfortable in our life, we can't even think about the next thing in life. You know why? Why? Sacrifice. We don't want to give sacrifice. We don't want to make the sacrifice. We're so comfortable. All right. Number 2, he says, don't pay attention. Don't pay attention. When he's whispering, don't pay. And they give the example of the shaitan. He's like a barking dog. So now if you trouble a barking dog, he's going to bark even more. So don't pay attention. So what do you do at that time? Do the dhikr astar. You feel that the shaitan is whispering, what do? Instantly engage in some ibadah. Instantly. 2 rakat nafal, some dhikr. Now it's very hard if you're doing nothing and not pay attention. I'm saying I'm not going to pay attention. The shaitan, I'm not going to pay attention, but at the same time I'm doing nothing. I will pay attention then. But so you got to engage yourself, do something else. Don't do a sinful act though. It doesn't mean that you save yourself from me and do your sin on the other side. So do something else pleasing to Allah Rabbul Izzat. Now he's saying do this, do that, or don't do nothing. You don't engage in any ibadat. You don't want to do no zikr. Help your wife. Watch the do some chores in the house. Just busy yourself so you can avoid the whispering of the shaitan. So try to avoid. There's many ways. One is musalla, one is dhikr, one is Quran, one is whatever amal you want to do. Other is you don't want to do no ibadat, you don't want to do no dhikr, you don't want to do nothing. Help somebody. Busy yourself in cleaning the house. Do something. Cleaning the house is better than letting the shaitan get the better of you and you committing a sin. So busy yourself at that time. And number 3, always keep your tongue moist with the dhikr of Allah Rabbul Izzat. Try to continuously keep on doing the dhikr of Allah Rabbul Izzat. What will this do? This will wade the shaitan off as well, continuously. Why? You know why? Regardless of your iman, how strong or weak it is. If you're doing dhikr and you know consciously you are doing dhikr. One is unconsciously, you're just pressing a button. One is a bit conscious, even if it's 10%, 15%, consciously doing dhikr. And the shaitan is when commit this sin, you'll think 10 times. What type of person am I? I'm doing Allah, you want me to do this. You understand? Many a times you see back home in our countries, people don't commit sin, they've got a bed. What do you really say? I've got a bed, yard. So who's protecting a person from the sin? It's the bed sometimes. So in the same token, forget about the bed, at least do some zikr. If you're doing zikr and the shaitan is saying, look, there's a beautiful girl passing by, look at her. So in the heat of the moment, your accuser at least will say this to you, yaar, what type of person are you? Yaar? You're doing Allah, subhanallah, pure, and look at girls. You understand? So the benefit of this is the second look. He will protect you from the second, the third, and the fourth look. Whereas if you were doing nothing, then the first is gone, the second look, the third look, the fourth, now you keep on looking. Until you don't, drop her off at home. You understand? Right. So these are 3 ways. We'll keep it up to date, Trace. Right, some more, we should finish this off today. We're only to start Hazrat Hawa. So we finish this off now. All right. Number 1 lesson we can learn from this. So this is one part of Sayyidina Adam A.S.'s life. One part of Adam A.S.'s story. What is that? Where Allah has ordered the shaitan to do sajda to Adam A.S. This is only one part yet. Now the second part where Allah is going to create Hawa A.S. But before that, we're just going to cover this. Number 1. Some lessons we can extract. Number 1, that whenever the hukum of Allah comes, we should not use logic. This is a big sickness today. What is it? And look, maybe this is a slip of tongue. This is wrong for me to say. I should not have said this slip of a tongue. We're living in such a time now. Logic, restaurant. Back in the time when we were growing up, there was no restaurant because we were dumb. We were dumb children. What were we? We are dumb children. We never asked questions. Theek hai. Yeah, we just follow. Sami'na wa ata'na. Not like Brother Muhammad says, Sami'na wa asayna. We listen and we disobey. So the children try, sami'na, if they fahimna, if they understand, then it's ata'na. If they fahimna is though fahimna understand, they don't. In today's time, as far as the rational side of Islam is concerned, when the hukum of Allah comes, I'm just saying, for hukum, then you don't use rational day. That's one principle we understand from this. Allah ordered the shaitan to do sajda and he started to use his rational. Oh, I'm better, I'm this and that. Who said? Only Allah Rabbul Izzah who's better, who's superior, who's inferior. Who are you to make judgments that you're better than Adam A.S? But in today's time, keep this in mind, for the youth, if they have any question, it is necessary for them to get the answer for that query or that question that is popped in their mind. You know why? You give the, like I'm saying, when we were growing up, what we were? Dumb children. Sharif kehte na? Theek hai yaar. The bache are not theek hai na. So today, if you knock a child back today, you know what happens? You're giving the shaitan an opportunity to pollute his mind now. That shak, that doubt or that query was this small, it becomes this big. And now he becomes scared to even ask anybody. You know why? Because he's already been knocked back. So he will never ask. So on the surface he's Muslim, but inside he is kafir. Inside he is denounced. You know why? He didn't get his answer. So today it is farz. Because there's nothing more important than safeguarding your iman. If there is a question, you ask. I'm not saying, and by me delivering this statement that you shouldn't ask rational, it doesn't mean that there's no rational logic behind Allah's ahkamat. I'm not saying that. I'm not. There's a lot. How can we say there's no rational behind the hukum of Allah? Allah's knowledge encompasses everything. For sure there will be rational behind that. And sometimes you can understand it. And sometimes it's beyond our what? Comprehension. Sometimes Allah's rational, His logic is beyond our... We have to accept this. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes He's rational, His logic is beyond our comprehension. We have to accept this. You know why? Because if everything... This is one thing I'm explaining. If we could understand everything, then there was no need of Allah, His Rasul and a book. Why is there need of a prophet? The prophets come and fulfill, that department in our life, that facet in our life, that walk in our life, that sphere in our life, where we will make mistakes on the basis of our knowledge. On the basis we will make mistakes, and we will keep on making mistakes. So the prophets come and they deliver a universal principle. They deliver a, you can say, shock-proof principle. Indestructible principle, that from the time Allah has created Adam till the last person, that principle can be practiced. That's what they come to deliver. You know why? And who can only deliver such a principle, a law? It is Allah. We, as far as insan is concerned, when we make a law, what do? There's many things there. Number one, there's our own motives there. My family's motives are there. My friends. So when I'm making something, what I'm doing, the first thing I do is consider myself. So when you consider yourself, what happens is now, you've overlooked hundreds and thousands of people. And it's going to be hard to practice that principle now. You understand? Like, who is a good coach? A good coach is that person who can bring himself down to the level of normal players. Who is a bad coach that doesn't understand this? I'll give you an example. Wasim Akram. The best bowler to come and to be born in this dunya, Wasim Akram. No doubt about it, as far as I'm concerned.
Not being biased.
I'm not being biased at all. Best bowler, but coach, zero. You know why? When he gets a ball in his hand, you know what he says to the people learning? It's easy, just do this. He says, just do this. That's why we have come to learn how to do this. For him, it's so easy. But for the people learning, it's so hard. How do you just do this? Because no problem, just do this. He fails. Same for Miyadad. For him, excellent batsman. When he came to coaching, rubbish coach, failed. You know why? He was so good himself. You have to come to the level of the people. So when Allah Rabbul Izzat makes a law and delivers a law through His prophets, what does He do? He delivers such a law that is compatible for everybody and for all times. That's the difference. Not only for the elite, So when I make my motive, I've got a shared motive there, my family's got a shared, my friends have got a shared motive. And if there's no motive, my jazbat, my feelings, I'll have some inclinations, intellectual inclinations. Now when Allah makes a law, He's free from all of this. When He makes a law, it's for everybody. That's why you need prophets, that's why you need books, that's why you need Allah Rabbul Izzat. Without Allah and a book and a prophet, you cannot comprise, you cannot manufacture, you cannot combine, you cannot make such a law that can be compatible for everybody at all times. You understand? So, like I just said, as far as logic is concerned, yes. It's not necessary you will understand everything. There are some laws in Shariat, very hard to understand. What is the logic behind that? But it doesn't mean there's no logic behind that. It means that it is beyond our comprehension, that's all. Generally, all the laws in the Quran you can understand. There's books written on this. One of the greatest books on this topic, it's Imam Shah Walillah Muhaddis Delvi Rahmatullah Alayhi's book, Hujjatul Baliga. What is it? Hujjatul Baliga. What does Hujjatul Baliga mean? The evidence that is reached his climax. Baliga. Pahunch. After this, he's mentioned all the logic and the science behind the orders of Allah Rabbul Izzat in this book. Understand? To some certain level. It doesn't mean that that doesn't mean there's no room for any other logic. As far as that book is concerned, that's what Hazrat had understood, and that's to his capacity, maximum capacity. That's all. There's more logics than that. All right. Number two, from this we understand, from this whole story up till now, we understand the weakness or the evil of takabbur. We understand what? The evil of takabbur. The shaitan worshipped Allah for so long, for hundreds of thousands of years. But what happened? Because he didn't comply to the order of Allah Rabbul Izzat, which was the result of what? Takabbur and arrogance. What happened? Allah Rabbul Izzat accursed him. That's why the Prophet Allah said, what is the hadith? La yadkhulul jannata man kana fi kalbihi miskalu zarratin min kibar. That person will not enter paradise who has an atom of takabbur in his heart. What is the definition of takabbur? The Prophet of Allah himself has given the definition of takabbur. What is it? It is, number one, to reject the truth. And number two, it is to look down upon people. Batarul haq, to reject the truth. Someone has brought the truth and you reject it. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're rejecting the truth, you are mutakabbir. And if you look down upon people, you are mutakabbir. So you can say it's got two facets, it's got two departments, it's got two dimensions. Right. Number three, the shaitan, one of his greatest sins was that big hopes and long hopes, big and long hopes. Give me respite until the day of judgment. Why didn't you just surrender? Why the day of judgment? Respite. You wanted time. So we understand time arcs in too much time and too many hopes and desires and ambitions is not a good thing, like the shaitan. And his ambition was what? That keep me alive until when? So arcs in Allah Rabbul Izzat you could say two big ambitions, it's not good. Like the shaitan had ambitions until the day of judgment. Give me respite to mislead man. It's not good. Number four, from this we understand that debasing, disgracing, rejecting the prophets, it is kufr. And this is one of the biggest evils and sins the shaitan committed, by rejecting and demoting and debasing and what? Looking down upon Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, that he rejected Allah Rabbul Izzat's order to surrender to Adam alayhi salam. So why? So this you could say this fallacy of his and this you can say evil crime of his made him what? Allah Rabbul Izzat's enemy and the accursed. So this was 4 points up to here. Inshallah we'll keep up here today, and then from next week inshallah we'll start Hawa alayhi salatu salam, how Hawa alayhi salam how she became into existence, how Allah Rabbul Izzat created her, what was she and then how Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam got married, and then what was their test, and then what happened after that test, and where did they end up, etc., inshallah. That's next week inshallah. That's one. All right, next one inshallah. So we've started a series here as well. This is on akhlaq as well, but this is in detail. The one we're doing in Jummah, you don't get much time, 15, 20 minutes. There's not much time to explain. 15, 20 minutes is not enough. Because sometimes what happens in Jummah is that you prepare something and something else comes in your mind and then you go off track, you're just talking about that. And that usually happens with me. So something before coming, I've got something, when I come here, something else happens. All right, so Jummah, forget about Jummah, this is in detail. We're doing this one in detail. All right. Last week I said, we reached this point where I said there is no amal, there is no action, there is nothing that a person does in life which is empty and free from akhlaq. Like I just said, but there's two dimensions of akhlaq. One is good and one is bad. So whatever amal you do, it can be a combination of both, or it can be good, it can be solely good, or it can be solely bad. It depends on the action. And I gave you 4 or 5 examples last week, if anybody remembers. Alhamdulillah, nobody remembers, so don't worry about it. Anybody? Yeah, one example, just one. Well, I want an example where an action, I want an example of such an action where there's good and bad.
Lying and truth.
Huh?
Lying and truth.
No, lying and truth. That's a puzzle. Lying and truth, what is it? Give me an example. I gave 5 examples last week. Good man. That's it, okay. What is it, brother? Yeah, what was that? What was the example?
I think
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Somebody's been in an accident.
Yeah.
You go to help the person, but at the same time, what you steal his wallet. So this is action which is a combination of good and bad. What was good here? 1 minute. What was good? You went to help. What is bad? You stole his wallet. What is brother Abid? What? Praying sunnah. How is that bad?
Because if, for example, if your mother tells you to do something, but then you decide not to do it because you pray sunnah instead.
No, that's a different one. We'll cover that. That's different. You're going some other technical thing. Understand? That's some other.
What about telling your wife to wear hijab and doing it the wrong way? Without wisdom, without...
What do you mean doing it the wrong way? You're facing the other way?
No, like you're screaming at her or something, no? Without wisdom.
Look, the Prophet ﷺ said, yes. Look. These are things, look, there are principles, yes, in Sharia. But then how do you apply them? How do you practice them? Some things go back to a person's own temperament and his hikmah as well. You've got to use hikmah as well. You've got to use what? Hikmah. Yes. So that's a different ball game. These were big 5, 6. One example I gave is, for instance, yes, a strange lady, yes, a foreign lady. You come across a lady, she's lost her way, but what do?
Take her home and
Yeah.
read her a bedtime story.
Yeah, you take her home and read a bedtime story. So one part of this act was good. What is it? That you went to help her, you went to direct her, but the second half is not good. What did you do? You took advantage of the situation. Yes, brother.
so if I want to give money to the masjid,
Yeah.
become a committee member, that's not a good thing.
One, you want this?
To become the president.
If your intention behind that is that, then it's not, yes. For instance, very good example he gave. A person is donated to an Islamic institute or a masjid, and his intention behind that, I want a position. Now, as far as the donation was concerned, that is good. The second part of the amal, this intention is not good. So these were 4, that's another example. So 4 or 5 examples I gave last week of an act that you can say is a combination of good and bad. Yes? All right. But keep in mind, in all these examples, even one the brother gave, if the intention was pure, you gave the money solely for the sake of Allah Rabbul Izzat, then this person, you can say, qualifies to be called what? Sadiq. Then he qualifies to be called a good person. But as long as there is some evil and bad intention and element in that action, this action cannot be called good. Just keep that in mind. All right, now,
Ask you a question.
Ji Bhaijan.
So let's just say that you give donation to whatever organisation.
Yes.
And the shaitan comes in your head and questions your motive behind it.
I'll tell you. Look, keep in mind now, this is a...
Did you do it for Allah? Did you do it for fame?
Keep-
Did you do it for whatever? How does one address this?
I'll tell you address. There's a principle regarding this. Intention. Excuse me. So whenever you do anything, at the start, whatever your intention is at the start, just ask yourself the intention at the start, innamal a'malu bin niyat, and ask your intention at the end, innamal a'malu bil khawatim. So at the start and the end, that's it. If the start it is for Allah, and at the end you're saying it's for Allah, that's it. You can't do more than that. You can't do. The shaitan will whisper, don't worry about it. The shaitan will whisper. He will always try to make you feel despondent, that whatever amal you did, it was small, it was for me. So you can say to knock him back, yes, and to repel him, your intention, whatever you do, ask yourself at the start and at the end. That's the hadith. Innamal amalu bin niyat, at the start. Innamal amalu bil khawatim, that your actions, they depend on the end. That's it. So what was your intention at the end? It was Allah. What was the start? Regardless of how much your intention changes in the middle. Don't worry about it. Yes.
Seriously, I'm asking this. You know, sometimes parents, they force their kids to become Hufaz. And the kid really doesn't want to. They say, no, it's my ticket to Jannah. Because if you become a Hafiz, you can become Jannah. Can you
Look.
Can you comment on that?
Yeah, as far as the parents making children Hafiz, it's good. And you can only make them Hafiz if you force. No one willingly is going to become Hafiz. It's a hard job. So no child willingly becomes Hafiz. Don't worry about that. It's a difficult process. No child is ready for it. To wake up 6 o'clock, no holidays and this. So you got to force. That's it. You got to force. But we're talking about if the child is mature, then forget about it.
On top of the niyyah, it's like literally just a ticket to Jannah. You know, I mean,
No, the ticket to Jannah, look, something we got to understand. It's not only hifaz. If the child is not practicing himself, it's not a ticket. It's a detriment to him and the parents now. That hifaz. Until the condition in the hadith is that he must be practicing. Not only reading. Parrots can learn the whole Quran. No big deal. No big deal. They can learn. It's practicing. Yes, all right. All right, now keep in mind, be it an individual or a collective group of people or a nation, success depends, and I will give dalil on this evidence. Success depends on one's or the collective group's akhlaq. That's why there's a beautiful couplet in Arabic. Innamal umamul akhlaq ma baqiyat fa innahum zahabat akhlaquhum zahabu. That a nation can only sustain itself, preserve itself, and move forward and be a force to be reckoned in this dunya if it has got akhlaq. And the day those akhlaq are gone, the day they separate themselves from those akhlaq, then what happens? Zahabu, that nation goes as well. Then Allah takes care of it. You can say then it's downfall. Thousands of questions can be coming in your mind. Inshallah, I've got the answer for all of them because I know where you're going with this. Even if you're not going, I'm going. One question you can be posing, what's happening here then? In these, you see, this is another thing. I'll explain. All right. And keep in mind our superiority over all the other creations. What is it? It is on the base of two things. What is it? It is on the base of our superiority. What is it? You see animals, like there are some people, you can say they're thinkers, Orientalist thinkers. They say there's no difference between humans and animals. We're all haywan. We're all what? Animals. We're all what? They say, so it's not a big thing if we're flying. You got birds flying. It's not a big thing if you got submarines in the sea. Why? There's fish there as well. Not a big thing. We're all haywan. Yes, we are all haywan, but there's two things. Yes, you can call yourself haywan because you are deprived from two qualities. If you had those two qualities, two, I'm saying, not one. What uplifts one person, what uplifts an individual, and what uplifts a nation in the eyes of Allah is two things, not one. Not only ilm. Number one is ilm, and number two is that individuals and that nations and that collective groups akhlaq. That's what lifts a person. So you see animals, they eat, they drink, they defecate, they do everything. We do the same. But if there's no ilm in us and there's no akhlaq, what's the difference? That's why Allah says in the glorious Quran, Bal huwa azal, you are worse than animals there. What are you? What's the difference between you? Because they've got boundaries and they understand those boundaries. They don't transgress those boundaries. Whereas human beings, when we transgress, there's no boundaries for us then. There's no boundaries. We do what animals don't even do. Yes? You never see a dog or a cat or any animal inviting a human, come and eat with us. But we see on the table, dogs, cats, everyone is eating. Yes? But so when human beings, there's no ilm, and there's a definition for ilm as well. And when there's no akhlaq, this is what happens. All right. Now, as far as this ilm and amal is concerned, I just want to mention some statements of some profound people, and out of these profound people, the greatest of all is the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "Bu'istu li utammima makarim al-akhlaq." And I explained this in detail last week. I hope you understood that. I made that chart. Remember, I said there are some, your fitrat, your nature, and there are some things that are not your nature. I explained that in detail, so that should be in your mind. All right. If a person loses his wealth, he's wasted nothing. Nothing is lost. If he loses his health, a little bit has been wasted. But if his akhlaq are destroyed, everything is destroyed of his akhlaq. If he's got no akhlaq, then he's absolutely destroyed. So you see, as far as wealth, nothing. As far as health, a little bit. But as far as a person's akhlaq, if they are destroyed and they are not up to par, they are not sound, then a person is destroyed.
You mentioned akhlaq in this context. Does Iman sit like these two?
I explain. Look, this is one thing I would like to explain, inshallah. How does Tawheed play a part? We all say Allah, La ilaha. Look, the key to all our problems is the kalima, but how? The key, the solution to all our problems is Tawheed. This is the gift Allah Rabbul Izzat gave to mankind through his prophets. La ilaha. The words are minimal words, La ilaha illallah. But the meaning, the impact, the effect is great. Because when you believe in Allah, this Allah comes between you and that amal, everything you do. So if Allah comes between you and that thing you are about to do, you will do nothing wrong. That's how Tawheed plays a role. That Allah comes in the middle. Look. So you got a picture in your mind. And mashallah, back in the days, you could say provisions, these things were, you can say privileges. You can say these things were luxury. Pens and these papers. But nowadays, these are not luxury. What is this? It's not even you can say, it's not, what is it? It's standard. It's become, yes, good man. It's become a standard. No big deal. That's why sometimes it's good to draw and write. Because you get a picture and then you could draw that picture in your mind. Look, this is an amal. What is that? So what is this amal? What are we going to write in there? Anything. What? Action.
Praise.
No, that's praise, obvious.
Charity.
No, that's no.
Smiling.
Smile.
Any good deeds?
Yeah. Smiling. Anything else? Little boy. Anything else? Anything.
Charity.
I want to talk about that. Those are acts of, yes, you. Eating. Greetings, good boy.
Yeah. Parents' obedience.
Good boy.
Wishing.
Visiting the sick.
Sick, yes. Helping. Anything else?
Forgiving a debt.
Yeah, good boy. D-E-B. Yeah. Yes.
Sharing.
No, that's enough, brother. Too much knowledge now coming out. Not good. We got to limit ourselves. All right. So these are some actions, yes? None of these are direct ibadat. None of these are direct ibadat. We're not praying. This is direct ibadat. We stand in front of Allah. Now, this is you. Human. Now, I'm going to explain something here. That's you, and that's these actions now. Now, one was this greeting. There's nothing in the middle now. There can be many motives for greeting. Give me some motives. Good boy. Promotion.
Yeah, to please someone.
Please somebody. Why pleasing? You're an idiot. You're going to have some reason. Why pleasing? Why?
So get more rewards.
Roads. Yeah.
Get money.
Ji bhai.
Getting contract in Christmas Island.
Yeah, contracting Christmas Island. Christmas Island. Christmas Island contract.
It could be inappropriate. It might be
Well, that's enough for you. Eating. Why do we eat?
sustenance.
No. Yeah, what's the reason? Good boy. Anything. What? Why? This is me. What is the reason eating?
Kind of a craving.
To be hungry, to survive.
Anything else?
Get donation from the Friday Jama.
Now, has that good? Do we need it?
Eh?
Now, what's that?
You have to make a link between eating and.
Are you going to make a link between human eating?
Sorry, no.
Anything else?
Someone offers you food and it doesn't taste good, but you don't want them to feel bad.
Good. Yeah.
Just make them happy.
Yeah.
Smiling. Why do you smile?
You're happy.
You're Tika happy.
Maybe someone's just handsome and they made you smile.
Anything else? Why do you smile? You're smiling. You're giving a smile to somebody. Why? Any reason? No, I'm not talking about religion at the moment. Huh? No, we're not talking about that. Not at the moment. Just keep Allah out at the moment. No Allah. No Allah.
You see something you like.
You see something you like.
Maybe you didn't mean to and you thought of a funny joke.
Well, that's enough. Visiting the sick. What's the reason visiting the sick?
Maybe you want their inheritance.
Good boy. You're a greedy man. Yes.
To share your feelings.
Share your feelings, good man. All right, helping somebody. What's the reason?
So you can get help back.
Yeah, good boy. What is it? So, reciprocal.
Yeah, reciprocal.
You can spell it.
No, I can't spell it. That's wrong. Don't worry. Another one. That's a good one. Another one. As long as you know I said reciprocal.
Because you feel sorry for them.
Feel sorry. Any other reason?
Maybe someone needs help.
It's obvious he needs help. That's why he's helping. Yeah.
Showing off.
Good boy. Showing off. All right. Next. Forgiving debt. Why do you forgive debt?
Maybe you just don't want to talk to the person anymore. Just don't like
No. For name and fame. He'll tell people. Anything else?
You're just tired of chasing them.
They're tired of chasing. Good boy. This person for sure is not a Pakistani. They're tired of chasing one. Yeah, another one. Another one.
Because there is no hope.
No hope.
Control as well.
What? Quiet. Good boy. They control. Now these were 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's brother Fuad gone now? Where's brother Fuad? They're both gone. Oh, sugars. Well, now I'm going to explain something now. This is what Deen does now. This is Tawheed. What is Tawheed? This is how Tawheed plays a role in my life, your life. This is how Tawheed played a role in the Prophet's life, the Sahaba's life, the Salaf Salim, the righteous and the pious. Now you're a human. There's no doubt about that. These things everyone encounters, comes across and does somewhere in their life. Yes? You greet, you eat, you smile, you visit sick, you help. Could be small help, big help, doesn't matter. And sometimes you even forgive debt. It could be small debt, $10, $20, $30, $40. Now all these motives we had behind these actions, these were some motives. 1, 2, 3, these were some motives. These are motives we had. You see, all these motives, they are a result of what? What are they a result of? Good boy. We can say, we make it a bit, you can say then, yes. Now, box, you open another Pandora box now, they can say, what is this nafs? That's why we need to keep it simple. So we'll take this off. We want to keep it simple. That's it. That's the best. That's exactly excellent one. You can say self-interest. Yes, yeah. Selfishness. Selfish. And you can say your disposition, nature, feelings.
You could say altruism.
Speak English, brother.
Altruism.
Who's he?
Altruism is just like your innate.
Good boy. Can you spell it for me?
A-L-T.
A-L-T.
R-U-I.
R-U-I.
S-M.
S.
M.
What's this word?
R-U-I.
You?
U-I.
You?
U-I.
Altruism. What does that mean?
Altruism is your basically innate self.
Yeah.
Like innate want to do good. Concern with others' well-being.
All right. Teak. So concern for others.
Secular concern.
No, it could be good concerns. You could be now, all these motives, be good or bad, this is a good motive. All these without tawheed, it's not ibadah. What is it? It's no ibadah. What is it? It's not ibadah. All these actions without this, all these actions without Allah in the middle here, without Allah, all these acts, no ibadah. And then what happens is when it's not ibadah, and when you haven't got the hereafter in mind, and you haven't got Allah Rabbul Izzat in mind, even if the if the motives are bad, you will sustain. Why? Lalach, greed. But if the motives are good, you will not sustain. You'll give up on the way. You'll be good once, you'll be good twice, you'll be good 3 times, 4 times, and then what happens? You just give hands. That's it, I've had enough now. Everyone does that. You do so much good, and then what do? When you don't see you reaping the fruits, reward, what do? I've had it, man, fed up. So if the motives are evil, you will sustain. Motives are not evil, you will not sustain. Why don't you sustain? There's a certain, a man can only be pushed up to a certain, you can say certain point. After that, a person said, I've had it now, man, because I'm getting nothing from this. So when the motive is good or bad, and it's interior, it's from yourself, you are not able to sustain. And if you do sustain, there's a reason there. The motive is evil, and because of that motive, that evil motive, you are sustaining. That's not an act of ibadat anyway. Now, even if the motive was good, but the intention was not Allah, you will not sustain. You will not, and you will not get reward as well. There's no reward. Why? Innamal a'malu binniyat. Why are you doing this amal? But if Allah comes in the middle, what happens? Forget about that. You will ask yourself the evil motives now. This is not right. Why? Now Allah has come there. Your tawheed has come. Allah doesn't accept this. So now you crossed all of this out. You're left with this one, concern for others. But why is my concern for others? What is the reason behind that? To please Allah. Now all these acts will become ibadat. Everything. Why? Because you have brought Allah in the middle between yourself and that amal. That's it. It becomes ibadat. The motive was good, but you have added one thing with that. What is that? Tawheed. What is Tawheed? The pleasure of Allah. Don't believe in Allah. You're doing it for Allah. Now, what is the benefit of this? Even if you don't get a reward, you will still sustain it. You know why? You're doing it for Allah. Whereas in the first scenario, you're doing it for yourself, good cause, but what? After a little while, I said, that's it, I've had it made. But when it's for Allah Rabbul Izzat, you know that results are not in my hand and I'm not doing it for reward. What did the Anbiya A.S. say to their nations? What they say? The Anbiya would always say to their nation, we don't want ajr from you. No reward, we expect nothing and no reward from you. That's why they kept on doing their dawah. They kept on giving their dawah. Until, regardless of even one person accepting what they kept on giving. That's why on the Day of Judgment, there will be some Anbiya Islam who will have no followers. Zero. They will resurrect from their graves alone. No followers. There will be some with 1, 2, 3. Why? Because they didn't want reward from people. So when you do something for the sake of Allah, I'll give you a prime example. Be it Muslim or non-Muslim. Madam, the nurse that passed away a couple of years ago, what's her name, in India? Teresa. Teresa. Kept on doing. You don't want reward. Eid from Pakistan. You don't want reward. So if Allah comes in the middle, you don't care. There's no expectation. You keep on doing. You can sustain as well. And then that becomes ibadat as well. Like I just said, without Allah, none of this is ibadat. So keep in mind, one is this ibadat. This is ibadat. Yes, this is the result of our tawheed. But as far as this is concerned, these things, these actions are concerned, these are ibadat as well. If you bring Allah in the middle. You smile. What is the intention of smile? What is the intention of, now I'm going to give you greeting. What should the intention of greeting be? I bring Allah in the middle. Why am I greeting? This is the sunnah of my Prophet of Allah. This is the teachings of deen. What is it? The Prophet ﷺ said, give salam. So why am I giving salam now? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, give salam. So I'm following the Prophet of Allah. And what did I say? Allama ibn Qayyim said, muqayyad bis sunnah. Your amal should be in line with the sunnah for it. You're going to get reward. Finish. So my intention is what? Number one, to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And number two, to give this message to my fellow brother that you are safe. As far as I'm concerned, you are at bay, brother. You are 100% safe from my mischief or my evil. Number two, eating. I eat. What is the reason? One is eating because to survive. One is eating to, what's that? Feel bad. Why am I going to feel bad, right? Well,
Feel bad because they gave you food.
yeah, that's your example. Yeah. So I'm eating to survive. TK. There's no intention though. No ibadat. I have to eat to survive anyway. But when there's an intention that Allah, the Prophet of Allah said, beautiful hadith. Allah Akbar. This is another series we should cover. Allah Akbar. Beautiful one, not even long ones. The hukuk, the rights the Prophet of Allah has given different groups of people. The rights. Allah, the Prophet of Allah has given to who? To people from different backgrounds. To people of different facets. To people of different spheres of life. The police, the wife, the husband. What else? What other departments are there? Laborers. The hukuk Allah, the Prophet of Allah has given. So now this eating, as far as this eating is concerned, I eat. I have to, as far as the surviving thing is concerned, the motive, I don't eat, I'm going to die. There's no doubt about it. I have to eat to survive. But if my intention is I am eating because my body has got a haq upon me. And who has said this? The Prophet of Allah. Before anything, my body has got a haq. So I'm eating to fulfill that haq. Ibadat. Finish. This is reward now. I'm eating. Number three, smiling. Why am I smiling? The Prophet ﷺ said regarding smiling, if a person smiles, it is sadaqah as well. And if you smile at your fellow brother to give this gesture, to give this feeling that he becomes happy as well. What is this? That's why there's a dua for this. What is the dua? When you see somebody smiling, what is the dua? Zahakallahu, Allah keep you smiling. Again, sunnah, reward. Number three, visiting sick. Everybody knows about the reward visiting sick. Angels, thousands of ways. Your intention is, I'm doing this because it's the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah. You used to visit the sick. Allah Akbar. Number five, helping people. Everybody knows. I've given about 10 Jummahs on helping. Yes, a person that assists anybody, that person, Allah Rabbul Izzat takes guarantee to protect that person and then assist that person himself then. So as far as forgiving debt is concerned, that's why there's levels of ihsan, there's levels of forgiveness. This is the highest level of forgiveness. Somebody has a debt, you forgive. The reward in the hadith. What is the reward? Allah Rabbul Izzat will pay back on the day of judgment. Finished, done. So you see, when you bring Allah in the middle, who is Allah? Allah is Tawheed. Who is Allah? Who is Allah? Allah is that entity you believe in. Allah is that entity that motivates you to do all of this. Until Allah Rabbul Izzat is an entity you want to draw close to. So when you bring Allah, everything is ibadat. When you take Allah out, there's no Allah in the picture. None of this. Even though you are doing it, the motive could be good. And it could, forget about the motive, it could be a need as well. That you need to eat to survive. No ibadah. You understand? So that's where Tawheed plays a role. Bring Allah in the middle. When Allah comes, that's it. Now that can be any sphere of life. Individual life, and you got your public life. In individual life, your aqidah, your a'mal, your aqidah, your belief. Bring Allah between yourself and your aqidah. Your a'mal, bring Allah between your a'mal. Yes? And your needs, your personal needs, bring Allah between that. Everything becomes ibadat. Then you got your collective spheres of life. What are the collective? Your dealings with people. Bring Allah in the middle. You will never cheat. You will never cheat. Why? Allah is watching. Then you got your akhlaq, bring Allah. I'm smiling, but what is the intention behind my smile? That's why Hazrat Mufti Taqi explained this beautifully. Look, this smiling is not akhlaq. Smiling should come from the heart. Your akhlaq are born in the heart. But how are they expressed? By the limbs. The akhlaq are in the heart. I could be smiling, but I could have hatred in my heart for you. Now, is this smile genuine then? Is this an authentic smile then? It's not authentic. Smile should come from there. All right. So keep in mind. So where did we go with this one? Just a brain fart.
Mufti Taqi Usmani said that.
Yeah. Akhlaq are from the heart. From the heart. Yes. So just keep this in mind. Bring Allah in the middle. I was explaining with Tawheed, how Tawheed plays a role. Very simple. No rocket science. This is no rocket science. Whatever. So I was talking about the collective life. Your dealings, your akhlaq, and your socializing. Bring Allah in the middle before you do anything. Yes, when you have a matter with a fellow brother, when you have an encounter with bring Allah. That's it. When Allah comes, you will never cheat. When Allah comes, you will never use vulgar language. When Allah comes, you will control your anger. When it comes to your personal life again, bring Allah there. Deen is simple. That's why they say Tawheed is the key. What is Tawheed? If you understand Tawheed, that's it.
Even your action, like if you are going to going outside your home, you are entering and making a dua,
Yeah,
it
dua.
become a dua. If you are going to bed,
Yes.
going to,
The Prophet of Allah said, look, you go to your wife.